So I want to talk about diversity and inclusion because I think it's super important to think about this. Actually, a lot of people might not consider that I would find that relevant or whatnot just simply by looking at me, but it's something that's really, really important to me, and it's always been important in my life for a lot of different reasons. Personal reasons. I have family members that faced some really tricky things growing up. My whole family has faced some really tricky things relative to that. I also grew up in a location that it was very challenging to sort of quote unquote move up in this world. And then, I've sort of looked at the research, both in my undergrad and graduate studies of thinking about diversity and inclusion, and the importance of equality, not equality. Everybody is not necessarily the same. I don't like that sort of topic, but thinking about equity, right? Like making sure that everybody has pretty fair footing, I guess. And I kind of want to talk about this today because I think it's super important in terms of strategic decisions and the challenges that you face with strategic decisions. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Masek. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor for to help you out. So by default, anybody that sort of pursues diversity and inclusion as part of their strategy has to pay an additional cost. That's really, you might be able to sort of figure out, ways to get around some of these things, but it's really an important consideration that it's an additional constraint, not a cost, right? And that's not what I'm saying, and hopefully nobody sort of reinterprets what I'm trying to say, because I know it's challenging, but it's an extra constraint, but this constraint often is very good in the long run. In fact, it's probably much better than not considering it in the long run, but in the short run, it always adds extra challenges, difficulties, costs, and all sorts of things. And you need to make a strategic decision when you do diversity and inclusion. And in the sense that you need to prioritize it if you're going to pursue it. There is, by default, the structure of much of society, and I'm not talking about the sort of systemic, issues and all that kind of stuff, but what I'm talking about is that there are underlying things that sort of patterns, routines, patterns, whatever you want to call it, that underlie how much human behavior does, and in order to make progress to remove some of the barriers for some people, you have to actually sort of consider it. And considering it is sometimes a challenge when there are larger forces that are not considering it. And so you have to be very thoughtful and really think about what it actually means for you and what it means for your organization in terms of what's going to happen. So benefits are like tremendous benefits, right, from diversity in terms of more thoughtfulness, more ideas, more creativity. Productivity, I don't know. I think there probably could be some benefits there, but also here's the benefit that I think most people sort of forget about, right? Like there's all those kind of things. But the benefit is that sort of opportunity costs that nobody really considers, right? If people feel uncomfortable, if there is nobody that is setting the tone, if there is nobody there that you feel comfortable with, then then it's hard to be attractive to people that would say, hey, you know what, that place is amazing, I want to go there. And you need to think about that opportunity. That opportunity cost is very real, because you're missing out on a tremendous number of opportunities of people just not feeling comfortable, and they're never going to tell you. It's not obvious. And life will sort of just continue on without making those important decisions, and everything will seem normal in the short term. But what you're missing out is the larger opportunities, and that's where I think some profitability or sort of some performance improvements can come from. It's just people feeling comfortable to not only talk to other people that are currently within the organization and feeling like just comfortable, but also the people that you want to attract. And that attracting component is hard to study. It's hard to tap into, but it's very real. When people feel comfortable, no matter who they are and what they're about, people need to feel comfortable at the end of the day. They need to feel really comfortable, and you'd be surprised on how challenging that is, from very subtle things. It's challenging for some people to go up to men, or go up to females, or go up to people of certain descents and stuff like that, because they just it's an uncomfortable position, and you have to be very aware of that is what people are thinking about, and you have to make them feel comfortable to be to have that sort of progress and what you're looking for, and productivity improvements, both within the organization and attracting new people that you find interesting to come to the organization. That is going to be the biggest thing you're going to miss out on, is that opportunity cost, because people just don't feel comfortable. And you have to be really aware of that. And I think we need to have more conversations about it, in terms of what it means for people to feel comfortable. Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, right? With diversity and inclusion, is just make people feel comfortable and part of something where they feel represented, they feel empowered, they feel like they actually count. And we need to start having that conversation a little bit more, and realizing that those are important things to pursue. And as a consequence, because they're important to pursue, you often have to think about challenges and costs and all those kind of things in the short term for the long-term benefit that you're going to get from it. Because there always is long-term benefit from thinking about diversity and inclusion in as many ways as you possibly can. So with that, if you like this podcast, leave me a comment. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.